Welcome to the great outdoors. We're back out here in New Brockton. As you can see, the rain has cleared. Isaac has passed, and it's time to come out here and see what kind of damage or whatever. We know that with all the rain that we've had, our poor gopher tortoises, their holes had to fill up with water. So they're going to have to be out trying to repair them. And as I drove up, sure enough, our little guy was over here, and he was out and he was digging out his hole, trying to get some of the mud and crap out of it. And they're hard little workers. Come along with us as we check our plants and whatever else we need to check here in the great outdoors. I love it back here. Signs of fall are beginning to show up. We found some beauty berries. We'll get you some pictures of that. And the wild snapdragons, they're out in some places. And it's getting cooler at night. It's really, really comfortable at night. It's still warm during the day, but it's nice and comfortable at night. When I left this morning, I looked in a drawer. I was looking for my keys or something, I don't remember. But I seen this arthritis pain reliever, and it was in a roll-on liquid form. And I looked at it, and I said, well, I haven't tried it. My knees were hurting real bad. So I tried it, and I rolled it on, and I looked at it. 90% of the main ingredient was capsicum. And that sounded familiar to me. But I put it on, and it made the pain in the bone actually go away. Felt a little warm or whatever. So I went ahead and loaded up my ATV and came out here. And now that my legs are starting to sweat, my legs are burning. For you people in law enforcement and have used pepper spray, well, guess what the main ingredient of that is? Yeah, capsicum. I'm having to water down my legs in order to... Man, that stuff burns. Another stupid idea here at Great Outdoors Productions. That ain't the production's fault though, it's the idiot that put it on there. Trust God. And my legs are on fire. So if you have arthritis and you want some kind of pain relief and you plan on sweating, do not use that capsicum roll-on stuff, because believe me, it's worse than the pain itself. He's trying to clear out. It must have really, really filled up with water because he was digging, trying to get the dirt out. And of course he heard us and he went back inside. We can see where he's been excavating. You can see all the fresh construction as they try to get the mud that has become their home out of their home. They're all working hard to get the mud out. You can see it. See how the difference in the color? That's just wet mud. It may not be occupied. They're not doing any construction here. And of course it doesn't look like it. It's hard to tell. Really hard to tell. We'll check on this one. There's absolutely been no movement here. This could just be a secondary burrow. We'll see. Could interconnect with the one over there. We've got a little plant. This guy doesn't look like he's doing too well. But you know, I think I put too much of that gel in there, and it's probably getting too much moisture. This one, it looks like it may be doing okay. You know, we're not going to know until you see some more pop up somewhere else. of all kinds of baby pine trees. And you have to wonder, you know, where did they come from? Well, behind it is this dead pine tree, and it's been dead for some time. But usually before a tree dies or whatever, if it has a chance, it'll distribute its babies, which is pine cones. And that's probably what happened here. You can see that they're all together in one little place. If you look over there, there's a pine tree that has split into two, has two. Gotta find it. There it is. It starts out as one, and it splits into two. And they coexist. Just found another tortoise hole burrow. This is an active one. You can see that it's been recently dug into. Probably a 3 or a 4-year-old one. It's not the biggest hole, it's not the smallest. But just outside is this big mound of dirt. Now it could be that's how they started, that's where all the dirt went when they started digging it. Then again, it could be a mound that the eggs are in. So we'll keep an eye on this, see what happens. I'd love to see some babies hatch out, pushed away out of the ground. I can't believe how small this tiny flower is. My finger compared to it. Small it is. Now it's on this big giant. It's beautiful. God don't make mistakes. Just dotted all over here. And some of the fall flowers are starting to pop up. You can see that this pine forest has not been thinned. It probably could use it, so there's very little way that we can go through the lines. You can see that there are lanes like in between the rows, but as far as getting in between the trees, they're beginning to grow together, and they need to be thinned because, as you can see, the only thing that actually is green is the very top. Now, they'll start fighting for sunlight and the weaker ones will die. So that's why you thin them out and they grow and they get bigger and fatter, and they're worth more. This is used for paper and other stuff, lumber. Now there are special trees. This tree right here would make a good lumber tree. but not a pole. There are some, and pole trees, trees that actually can be made into telephone poles, are worth more than any of them. You see, very little grows in a pine stand that hasn't been thinned. There are times when it's pitch black in some of these, and the sun will be out, because the sun just doesn't penetrate that top canopy. You can see very little of it's getting through now. So there's very little greenage or growth here in the canopy floor. Not like what was in the last one that we were at, which had been thinned. And you can see how nature wants to grow. As you can see, there's a break here in the pine stand. The trees actually didn't grow or died or something. And foliage is trying to pop up here. These are briars, they're berry plants. But it's, you know, trying to come through. And that's, so we're going to cut this way and go through that greenage and see if there's anything down there. This is good turkey territory right in through here. This is beautiful back in here. Now the best part of the trip would be if we were to head down that way. It hasn't been cleared in 50 years probably, or thinned, but there's supposedly a well and all kinds of stuff down there. But it's a pretty good hill to get down, and unless it was thinned, I don't know. I don't want to really go down there by myself. It's not that I'm afraid to. I'm afraid that I might roll it or something to happen. I'll be down there by myself, and you don't have any radio. Or one of the signs that fall is here, or is beginning, is these berries. These are called beauty berries, and when you start seeing them, it's fall. You can see they're all in there. Very, very pretty purple color. And it's a food source. Not for us, but for animals and birds that need to. Look at our partridge bees. They're all over here. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Birds love this stuff when it grows. Quail love it. Of course, you know quail's my favorite bird. And it's all over here. It is beautiful. Every one of those little yellow flowers will be a pod. And the pod will grow and develop the seeds. And then when the plant dies, the pod dries out, it shrinks up and pops open and spreads the seeds. Now this is a hard-working little creature, I'm telling you. Now he probably just started digging this, and I'll tell you how big he is. Look at all the dirt that he's got out of there so far. But I'll show you how big he is. Look, he dragged right through that. And that's how wide he is. Yep. And he carries all that dirt back over to here. Keeps pushing it out and pushing it out until he finally gets into his hole. God bless him. What a hard-working little guy. Well, it may not be a guy, it may be a girl, but look at how damp the ground is. Look at how damp it is down there. He definitely worked hard. I am so glad that we put a couple plants in right down the road here, and hopefully they'll survive and he'll be able to feed on those. He's only a few years old. We'll get a measuring tape and measure this, see how wide he is. So he's a pretty good size one. Pretty good sized turtle. That's a width now. That's his width. He's a hard-working, industrious guy, that's for sure. Got a pretty little plant. This plant is named after a female sexual organ, believe it or not. I wonder if you can guess which one. What you're looking at here is kudzu.
and it is actually taking over this portion of the woods, and if it's allowed to go much longer, it will kill everything here. That kudzu is already over here, so it's out of control. This really hadn't been like this. I've never seen kudzu over here except this year, but it's definitely out of control. It does put out a very, very pretty purple flower, and I don't know if I can zoom in on it or not, but it's up there, and there it is, and a very nice fragrance to it, but you can see it takes over and kills everything else. This was brought to this country. This is native to America. It was brought over actually because Alabama was washing away, and they needed something to stop the land from washing, so they thought that this ground cover would be great. Well, it's kind of taken over. A trip to the farm would be nothing without a stop to see my boys. And here they come. Yep, that's Okie and Bishaw. Yep. Here they come. Them my good babies. I love them with all my heart. Yep. Look at Okie. He knows. He knows.
Well, that's about going to do for us here, folks. I want to thank you, first of all, for joining us here in the great outdoors. And, you know, if you ever run into a tortoise, you'll find them usually around longleaf pine stands, or there's a bunch of pine trees right along the edge of there. That's usually where you'll find their big dugouts. But if you happen to see one in the road or something, just stop, and if he's pointed in a certain direction, just take them across the road and keep them pointed in that same direction. They get confused easily. That's why I'm, studying them, because I do the same things. But anyway, again, I want to thank you for joining us here in the great outdoors, from me and all the family tortoises in New Brockton. And we really hope that you'll join us here the next time. So if you enjoyed the photos, just let us know, and we'll see you here the next time in Great Outdoors. See ya.